If you are looking for a Brawl deck that uses absolutely zero rares, or if you're looking for one in the Brawl Builder Challenge in particular, which is happening right now, which I'm going to try to get this video out as fast as I can for, then I have the deck for you. Arabella is absolutely busted and can be played with all your commons and uncommons, and I'm going to show you how. Let's go. Welcome to the Attic Manadad here. It's the channel where we explore what is fun in Magic, mostly on Arena. On Arena, there's a Brawl Builder Challenge happening as I record this, but this deck will be good in regular Brawl as well. If you just want to get into Brawl, don't want to spend any rare wild cards whatsoever, of course you can upgrade it with rare wild cards, and maybe we'll talk about some upgrades. This is a really fun and deceptively powerful commander. Arabella, Abandoned Doll, very creepy. When she attacks, it's going to deal X damage to each opponent. You gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 2 or less. Only 2 to play, so if they remove it, bring it back. That's a great thing about it. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to stack the deck with a bunch of cheap creatures that have power 2 or less, that have all kinds of abilities, and a little bit of synergies around going wide with a bunch of creatures. So let's take a look at it. We'll show some gameplay after this, and of course deck list in the description and all that as usual. What do we got in here backing up Arabella? Well, we got Arabella is an artifact creature. So we've got a little bit of an artifact sub-theme is going to become apparent here. The Ocean Frontliner, I mean, we know some of these as classic aggro things are all State of Life's Bounty, is more on the life gain side and protect our commander. Dauntless Bodyguard's going to protect our commander. Novice Inspector is going to generate an artifact. Nurturing Pixie is actually, it seems like a non-value play, but we have so many creatures with Enter the Battlefield abilities that just bouncing a cheap creature, you know, bounce the Novice Inspector, get yet another clue, can be good value here. Selfless Savior is another way to protect our commander. Shard Mage's Rescue, protect the commander. Static Prison is some removal. Thraben Inspector, copy number 2 of Novice Inspector. Topplegeist has an ETB and actually has Delirium, which we should be able to trigger fairly easily in this deck with all the artifact creatures and, you know, instant sorceries and enchantments that we've got going on. Unwanted Remake. We don't mind if we turn their big creature into a 2/2. Manifest Dread, because our 1/3, it could block our 1/3, but we don't really even need to get through with the 1/3. We just, it's an attacks trigger. We just need to be able to safely attack and get that big drain going. Clockwork Percussionist. We skipped Dragon's Rage Channeler, which unfortunately has been alchemized, but still a great card. And Frantic Scapegoat. Gonna suspect our commander with it and give it menace, essentially. Gleeful Demolition. This is great to make 3 bodies, and we can blow up, as we've seen, lots of artifacts, and we even have some like Clockwork Percussionist that's going to give us a benefit when we blow it up. Gold Hound, First Strike Menace. Kumano faces Kazakan, a very classic aggro card. Phoenix Chick is a personal one. I had 250 cards in this deck list, and I made so many cuts to get it down to this. And I kept the Flaming Chicken because I love him. And of course, we're going to often be attacking with 3 or more creatures and be able to bring it back from the graveyard. Rabbit Battery, it's nice to be able to give Arabella haste, so that's good. Rahiram Lancer, when it dies, the ring tempts you. You can see there's a couple ring tempt cards in this list, because if we put the ring on Arabella, the first step is can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. So that essentially means Arabella cannot get killed when she attacks, which is nice. Sarpadian Simulacrum is removal, also an artifact creature, also haste. We've got lots of these lands that have a little bit of you know, extra value to them, because essentially we're pretty land light. I think how many lands we're running in this final list. We're down to 33 lands, but we do have a number of MDFCs. And because I did strictly keep to no rares, no mythic rares, our lands are going to be, you know, commons and uncommons, and they are tap lands at that point. Although Raucous Carnival has the potential as a common land to come in untapped, which is pretty cool from the new set. Epicure, makes a blood token. Gingerbrute is artifact. Carrot Cake, artifact, making lots of tokens. Case of the Gateway Express, this is removal that is based on how many creatures we have, which will hopefully be a lot. Clarion Spirit can be generating lots of creatures. Griffin Airy, this I thought would just be so much fun. Often, I mean, it's almost never can you attack with Arabella and gain less than 3 life. So just generating a 2/2 Griffin creature every turn is super fun value. Here's MDFC removal here, removal, removal. This is kind of a nice one because often people block Arabella and then you just be like, Razor Glass and remove their blocker. Resolute Reinforcements, 2 bodies and 1 card. Protection with on an MDFC. This is removal plus a little buff, lifelink and ward 2. So it can be a little bit of protection for the commander. Skyclave Cleric. This can gain us life, and it's also a body that counts for Arabella, or it can be a land. Slip on the Ring. This is going to protect our commander or one of our ETB creatures. You know, let's say they go to remove something, we just blink it, and we get that ring tempt. Spirited Companion, of course, just like creature, draw a card. I actually had to cut some of those. There's enough of those. You could just do a whole deck of those. Split Skin Doll is a similar one where it's essentially going to be draw a card. It's a 2-mana 2/1 draw a card in our deck. Thraben Charm can destroy enchantments, exile graveyards, and also remove creatures. Lost to Legend. I haven't really played with this, but it seems like it should be good in Brawl. Put a target non-land historic permanent into its owner's library 4th from the top. We're pretty tempo-y deck, so if we can just remove their commander can go back to their command zone, but just remove stuff out of the way, tuck it for a couple turns, that could be enough for us to win. Because if we have a big board, it really doesn't take that many attacks with Arabella to win the game, as hopefully you'll see when we play stuff out. Scrapwork Mutt, Amped Raptor. I mean, here's one that you might not have come up with in a search, but whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, it gets +1/+0 and gains double strike until end of turn. So because Arabella is going to be dealing that non-combat damage, it works nicely with the commander. It's essentially a 2/3 double strike for 2 mana, and it can get more because we have other ways of dealing the non-combat damage. Crater Maker can blow up a colorless non-land permanent, which there are a lot of mana rocks floating around, so that's probably the main thing you're going to do, but you can also use it to deal 2 damage to target creature. And of course, it's a 2 or less power creature. Goblin Instigator is another 2 bodies in 1 card. Horned Stoneseeker is going to generate an artifact that we can use to sacrifice and also to play certain effects. Rally at the Hornburg is another 2 creatures in 1 card, and those creatures get haste, which is nice. Baird, Argivian Recruiter, is 2/2 that's going to generate 1/1 white soldiers, hopefully. Conduit Goblin. Lightning Helix, just very efficient removal. Rip Apart, very efficient removal in these colors. Regal Leosaur, maybe another one that wouldn't necessarily occur to people right off the bat, but having that mutate ability, essentially to give an overrun effect, other creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. You're not going to get the Arabella effect, but let's say they remove Arabella, but you still got the big board. Pop the Leosaur down the next turn, Alpha Strike, all your stuff getting +2/+1. Usually if your board is wide enough, that's just game over. Good game. Did put in Ornithopter of Paradise and Swiftfoot Boots. Swiftfoot Boots because our commander is a removal magnet, so being able to protect it is a bit of a priority. Not a lot of 3-mana spells. Annex Sentry, Hop to it, 3 bodies in 1 card. Inspiring Overseer, there's one of these draw and gain life cards. Mentor of the Meek, because we don't have rares, we can't do stuff like Welcoming Vampire that draws cards automatically when we get a small creature in, but we can do Mentor of the Meek, so we pay 1 mana to turn all our creatures into cantrip creatures. Militia Bugler is a 2/3 that's going to draw us a creature power 2 or less. Ghostfire Slice. This is another one people sometimes overlook, but I think in commander-type formats like Brawl, there's almost always going to be a multicolored permanent, so this is essentially just a 4-mana, not even Lightning Bolt. It's a 1-mana 4 damage card. 9 Crescendo. This also survived my cuts. Just wanted some overrun effects in the deck. This one's going to leave behind some bodies, so that's good for our deck. Imidane's Recruiter, you probably know and love from Standard already. It's an overrun effect on a body. Can also make 2/2 knights if you flood out. Spectacle cards are great in this format because Arabella is dealing with the damage automatically on attack. So we got light up the stage. I did cut whatever the other one is called that deals 3 damage. This is Spectacle Lightning Bolt. Molten Gatekeeper. We got tons of creatures entering. That's going to deal damage. This could be enough to just finish things off. And of course, Sundering Eruption is an MDFC, but it can also be nice because creatures without flying can't block this turn. So forget about the land destruction. It's essentially that, you know, play that. Well, you built up the big board. You play that, then you just get the Alpha Strike and you win. And that's the deck. Stick around to see it in action, and I hope you enjoy this Budget Brawl Deck. Playing this on my Free Spells account, which I keep free to play, so hopefully a good example of what you can build in the free to play zone. Okay, we got some creatures. We got our colors against Tyvar the Pummeler. They're going to be playing a lot of face down cards, probably. Or no, this is not the face down one. This is wow. They can get indestructible and they can overrun. Okay. Well, that looks super busted, but we'll give it a shot. Ossification can deal with the first casting of Tyvar. Let's go with the battery. No cover forest. Jaspera Sentinel. Okay. Let's get our commander going. No attacks. And an Allosaurus Shepherd. Oh my goodness. Okay. They are intent on making all their stuff into things. Okay, let's see. So I can definitely get one more creature down here. And then just attack with Arabella. Drain you for 3. Block, that's fine. I think we'll see what we can draw. Yeah, Resolute Reinforcements and a Scrapwork Mutt. Opponent at potential 4 mana. Very into their full bleed arts here. Okay, we got Leaf Crown Visionary. Essentially looks like an elf tribal deck, which are going to be problematic under the new Commander 4-tier system, potentially. Fwana Schwaman. So, okay, so we hit our lands, so we can make some guys, and then I think I'm just going to lose the Scrapwork Mutt so we can clear this blocker. That gives us a clean attack here with Arabella. Hit you for 5, we go up 5. We're getting close to an Alpha Strike here with Sundering Eruption, but the opponent has Defiler of Vigor. So, let's see. That is not historic. None of these are historic. It's instant speed. Guess we'll just go Sundering Eruption. Make it so their creatures can't block. Doesn't matter what land land we blow up, they're just going to go get another snow-covered forest. And get through, they go to 6. So potentially, if we get a creature next turn, one attack from Arabella is lethal. But opponent can hit us back pretty hard, but we're at 39. It's also they're such a low life total makes it harder for them to use the Defiler of Vigor's ability to make stuff cheaper. So that's good. Tajiri Paragon. They're going to try to draw a card. If they can draw their way out of it. They're just going crazy wide. Masked Vandal. Oh, so they can. But do they have a creature card in their graveyard? They do not. You may exile a creature card from your graveyard. You don't have one. That resolves. Otherwise, I could sacrifice Alseid, but we just need a creature. Actually, we don't need a creature off the top. We got lethal. Let's see. Opponent's going to try to hit us for a lot, though. See how much they can get. I don't think it's 39. They did hit for a lot, though. Good game. And, let's attack with Arabella. Drain you and win. We were very happy. Let's see what. So one of the reasons to play these events that come up, the midweek events, is you can get free rares. And I did already win a game when I was playing on my phone here, but let's see what we won. It was Audience with Trostani. Draw cards equal to the number of differently named creature tokens you control. Okay. There's probably a deck around that, actually. Seems powerful. So I usually play until I get 2 wins. You can also play until 3 wins and get a cosmetic, or just keep playing if you enjoy this. This event was only using Duskmourn legendaries, so that is that. Thanks for joining me in the attic. I've been Manadad, reminding you Magic is a game so fun, even dads can enjoy it. Adios.